People associate you with the Sunburst Les Paul.
Yes.
Do you remember the first time you actually got your hands on one? As I'm assuming probably as a kid you got the chance to play one. Do you remember the first burst you got to play?
First burst I got to play, Fall Philly, 1993. My dad was in the guitar business at the time, and there was a guy walking around a 58 Sunburst and had recognized me from a band that I was in called Bloodline and said, "Hey kid, you should try this out," you know? So it was like a 58 Les Paul. I couldn't really understand what I was playing. I knew it was a very valuable guitar. At the time, it was, I believe it was, the asking price was $16,000, which was incredibly
crazy.
expensive.
You're out of your mind.
Incredibly expensive. Next one I got to play, probably a year later, was one that walked into the House of Guitars. Guy wanted a car, and they were like, "What kind of car do you want?" He goes, "I want a Lincoln Town Car." So they went out and bought him a Lincoln Town Car and traded it for the guitar. Try doing that accounting at the end of the year. What's this business expense? Lincoln Town Car. That one I played, and I played a few other ones at Rumble Seat. And the first real experience I had with a group of them would have been in 2008 in Springfield, Missouri. My friend Tom Whitrock, legendary guitar dealer, burst collector, and I just stumbled in his shop, and he's like, "Hey, you're Joe, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Hey, do you want to see some bursts?" And I'm like, "You don't hear that in a music store every day." Like, burst plural. So all of a sudden these chainsaw cases start coming out, and I'm like, you always associate the chainsaw case with the sandwich body 72 Deluxe.
Yeah.
The 58 comes out, then Donna comes out, then Sandy comes out. He had just gotten back from Arlington, and that's when I started to go, this is, now I get it, because I had a store to myself and an audience with these things, and started to feel the differences in the necks, because the prevailing narrative was the 58 was the club neck, and then the 59 was this, and then the 60 was the small. They kind of vary, and different serial number ranges vary within the year. And I gravitated towards, honestly, the 60. I like the skinnier neck, and I like certain 59s that are not too big, and I like the bigger fret ones because the 58s came with the small frets. When I got my first one in 2010, then it exploded. Every show, there was a couple showing up, and I became known as a guy associated with the Sunburst Les Paul. And I think we've documented, between myself and Mike Hickey, we've documented over 200. And when you've handled as many as I've handled, you start noticing similarities, and you start being able to identify guitars that are not all original and just outright fakes. And it doesn't take long, and you can almost do it with your eyes closed, because they had a standard, no pun intended, to making those guitars. And they applied those same standards to juniors and specials and 335. So if you get this wacky feeling neck heel, and it doesn't feel like a Gibson. It doesn't feel like a Sunburst Les Paul. It doesn't feel like a Gibson. And that's the one thing I encourage any collector getting into this, is to understand the manufacturing processes of the time. Ask, beg, borrow, steal, to play as many examples of vintage Gibsons as you can, of any era, 40s, 50s, 30s, 20s, 60s, 70s. You start understanding the way it would have gone down in just a pragmatic way. Okay, now you can start identifying the factors.